The first time I heard about NoFap, I was in the middle of my self-development journey, or really I was just starting. And, I was going through a very tough time. I had just gotten my heart broken for the first time. I had just quit my job and I wasn't making any money. And, I was trying to make YouTube work for me, but the outlook didn't look very good for me. Things didn't project very well. And at the time, I was just focused on improving myself. I wanted nothing more than to level myself up because I felt like the reason why what had happened to me happened was because I wasn't good enough. Now, obviously, in hindsight, that isn't true, and that is a toxic mindset to have, but it worked. Having that mindset helped me get to where I am right now. It helped me level up and get to that point where I could do it for myself. I developed that self-love to where I want to level up for me and my experience in this life. And NoFap was a foundational piece of that. The first time I heard about NoFap was from my friend. And of course, when you hear about NoFap, a lot of times you think that it's not really real. You would think that there's no way that it can give you the benefits that these people tell you about. Especially when you start looking into the Reddit forums and, even the YouTube videos about the benefits of NoFap. It all sounds fake. There's no way that NoFap could make you more attractive to women. There's no way that NoFap can make you more confident or more energetic. There's no way NoFap can make you more creative. But I decided to give it a chance because, like I said at that time, nothing was really going well for me and I was just looking for anything to better myself. Now, I believe that me and my friend had that conversation at the end of March, so about a year ago. And when he told me about the benefits of NoFap, I told him that I was going to quit that day. I told him I'm not addicted to that. I can stop whenever I want. And that was the day I figured out that I was indeed addicted to PMO. I didn't last 8 hours. Okay, I didn't even last 8 hours on that challenge. I relapsed the same exact day that I started. Didn't even make it to day one. That's when I realized that I was addicted and I had to cut this out of my life. If there's one thing about me, it's that I am not good with moderation. Okay, I'm an all or nothing type of person. So what I realized was that I have to cut this out completely because by this point, I was doing it every day and I didn't really think there was anything wrong with it until I tried to stop. Okay, I don't like being addicted to things unless those things are adding value to my life. Case in point, making YouTube videos. Now, with that being said, I relapsed that same day, and after that, I went 2 weeks. Okay, 2 weeks on NoFap, and I ended up relapsing. After that, I went 9 months. Okay, so I only relapsed 2 times on my first journey. And at the start of that journey, when I was struggling, when I was having those urges, it really made me do a lot of introspection. It made me question why I was so addicted to PMO and why so many other people are so addicted to PMO as well. Why is this so normalized? And what I realized is that people justify their bad habits by normalizing them. Okay, PMO is normalized for men especially, and that's not okay. People think that it's normal and healthy to do that, and it's not. It's really not, especially the P part. Okay, the P part is terrible for your brain. It is terrible for your dopamine receptors. Life becomes a lot more dull, and you don't realize this until you stop. But anyways, I started my 9-month streak in the middle of April 2020. And I remember the first thing that I noticed along my journey was that I was becoming more confident. And that was for a couple of different reasons. The first reason is that I was doing something that about 99% of men would not even be willing to try, much less be able to complete. And 2, I was overcoming an obstacle that I had set for myself. Now, this was very, very important for my self-perception because, like I said, at the time, I had just quit my job. I had put myself in a very tough situation financially, mentally. I was in a tough spot emotionally, spiritually. I was going through a spiritual awakening. I was going through a lot of changes in my life, and change can be very uncomfortable. So in me doing NoFap, I learned to become comfortable being uncomfortable. I learned to become comfortable with the urges and I learned to transmute them. And that started to show in my content. And I mean that both literally and figuratively because when I started NoFap, I had around 850 to 900 subscribers if I'm not mistaken. Now, when I posted my NoFap 30-day benefits video, which that same exact friend told me to post that video. Shout out to Doug, by the way, if you're watching this. But he told me to post that video, and I remember I didn't think anybody was going to watch it. I didn't realize NoFap was such a big thing. But I posted that video, and it popped off. That video popped off unlike any other video I had posted in the past. And that right there, that was the start of my YouTube career. That's the video that got me monetized, that got me over 1,000 subscribers. That video placed me in the self-help community. That's what helped me get out of the ASMR community or the public interview community and put myself squarely in the self-help, self-improvement community, which is where I belong. Now, aside from my NoFap videos helping me out a lot, me doing NoFap and increasing my confidence with time, that really helped me with my on-camera presence and just overall being more confident in myself. And that would show in my on-camera presence. You know, I've become much more articulate. I'm able to project my voice better. You know, just little things like that that make you a better content creator. And in addition to that, NoFap got that ball rolling for my self-development journey. Okay, so I was able to level up mentally, emotionally, physically, and spiritually. Because NoFap has this way of bringing out feelings that you didn't know were there. Okay, when you're on NoFap, you're going to feel more emotional and you're going to be forced to confront your emotions, you know, and you're going to have to learn to take the energy that you get from NoFap and transmute that into productive outlets for yourself, whether that be the gym. You know, that's one thing that I started to do more and I developed myself physically. And also, you know, making videos, getting on your purpose, making money. You know, there's a lot of different things that NoFap can do for you. And, you know, the further along I went on NoFap, the more these effects started to multiply. I just became the best version of myself that I could possibly be. I was very confident, very in tune with myself, and I still am, don't get me wrong. But I did go through a little rough patch after I relapsed, which I'll get into in a second. But, you know, I was continuing to level up and it showed in my content. And it showed in my YouTube success. Okay, I went from 900 subscribers before I started NoFap back in April 2020 to like 30,000 subscribers by the end of 2020. And the reason why I had that growth is because I leveled up myself. You know, I am in the self-development community, and the more you level up yourself, the more people are going to follow you. But also because I was very, very disciplined. Okay, I stayed on top of my upload routine. I have not missed an upload since I started NoFap, and the results speak for themselves. But the reason why I had that level of discipline is because of NoFap. NoFap is what instilled that discipline in me. Okay, PMO is the single most pleasurable feeling that you can feel as a man. And not only that, but you have unlimited access to it. And so to be able to indulge in that level of pleasure every single day for free, mind you, it's going to take a lot of discipline to not do that, especially when everybody else is doing it. Discipline is the greatest form of self-love that there is. So NoFap helps you develop the discipline that you need to stay on top of your purpose and continue to level up. Now, with all that being said, I ended up getting a girlfriend, and I do contribute NoFap to that. I do think that NoFap was a very big part of the reason why I ended up getting a girlfriend, and I will speak on that in another video because that deserves its own separate video. But essentially, I ended up getting a girlfriend, and of course we were sexually active. And if you didn't watch my video on why I quit NoFap, I'm going to give you a quick rundown of what happened. Basically, I couldn't get it up. Okay, I couldn't get it up for her, and you know, this was my first time losing my V card. This was my first time doing this type of thing. So looking back on it, a lot of that was performance anxiety. It was all in my head. You know, it was all in my head, and I really didn't need to relapse on NoFap to, you know, do that. But I did. Okay, I panicked and I acted out of fear. Fear of her leaving me for, you know, me not being able to perform in bed. And, you know, of course that was very short-sighted of me, but I basically ended up relapsing and I got back into PMO. It wasn't to the extent that I was doing it before I started NoFap. You know, it wasn't an everyday thing, but it was something that I was doing at least weekly. And I noticed that my confidence began to diminish rather quickly. And for a while, I didn't know why this was. I didn't know why I was losing my edge, why I was losing my intensity. But what I realized over time was that I stopped doing NoFap. That was the only difference. I stopped doing NoFap and I lost it. I lost that edge that I had, that edge that had gotten me from 900 subscribers to 30,000 subscribers. And once I lost that, I started to lose myself as well because I identified with my NoFap journey. I identified as that version of myself that was very confident and in tune with myself, as I should identify with. I feel like you should identify with your best version. But I stopped doing that because I lost that best version of myself, which is why I'm back on NoFap now.